Hello, welcome to the OpenSearch YouTube channel. I'm Ramya, a data analytics consultant at Amazon Web Services. In this video, I will walk you through different ways you can deploy and access your OpenSearch dashboards and the new OpenSearch User Interface. Whether you want to have your dashboard in a public setup, inside a VPC, or serverless, we have it all covered. By the end of this video, you will have a good understanding of how to set up OpenSearch dashboards, control access to them that fits your use cases. So let's get started. Let's begin by looking at the deployment options for OpenSearch dashboards within a provisioned domain. You have two main options, public access deployment and VPC deployment. I'm in the OpenSearch console. When you click on create a new domain under manage cluster, and scroll down to the network section, you will be prompted to select whether the domain should be public or launched into a VPC. If you choose public access, the domain will be accessible over the internet. Public access deployments are ideal for experimentation or demos where the focus is on quick setup and ease of use. However, we recommend using VPC-based deployments as a best practice. So if you select VPC access, the domain is deployed inside your private VPC that you choose. The dashboard's UI is only accessible from the resources within that VPC or from trusted networks connected via VPN, VPC peering, or transit gateway. Here is how a public access domain looks. If you scroll down, under the network section, you will notice the access is public and the dashboard URL is accessible over the internet. And here is how the VPC domain looks. Under the network section, you will notice the access is VPC and the subnets and security groups used to deploy the domain. And as already mentioned, to access the default installation of OpenSearch dashboards for a domain that resides in a VPC, users must have access to the VPC. This process varies by network configuration, but likely involves connecting to a VPN or managed network or using a proxy server. Remember, if you choose to launch the domain as public, you won't be able to switch to VPC later, and vice versa. To make this change, you would have to create a new domain and migrate the data. Now let's talk about authentication. OpenSearch supports multiple ways to authenticate users for the dashboards and the UI. Let's see this in action. Select a domain, go to security configuration, and click on edit. You will notice several authentication options. First one being fine-grained access control. Fine-grained access control offers more ways to control access to your data. Define granular permissions for indices, documents, and fields. Remember, once enabled, it cannot be disabled. You can either set an IAM role ARN or create a master user with a username and strong password. The master user has full access to the domain. With this setup, you get username-based authentication for OpenSearch dashboards. Next is SAML authentication. SAML lets you integrate your existing identity provider or IDP like Okta, Azure AD, and many more for single sign-on SSO with OpenSearch dashboards. All you need to do is enable SAML authentication. You will receive multiple URLs. You need to use this to configure a SAML app in your IDP. Then upload the metadata XML from your IDP. Once that is done, you also have options to configure additional settings. Let me show you how an OpenSearch dashboards domain with SAML authentication looks like. As you can see, for this domain, SAML authentication is enabled. I'm clicking on the dashboard link. You will be prompted to log in using your IDP credentials. I'm logging in via my username and password. Once authenticated, you are logged into the OpenSearch dashboard. It is that simple. Okay, coming back to the remaining authentication options, we have JWT authentication and authorization. JWT allows SSO using tokens issued by your IDP. You will need to provide a public key to verify the JWT. The next one being Amazon Cognito authentication. Amazon Cognito supports a variety of identity providers for username password authentication. You need to select required user pool and an identity pool. Remember, if SAML is enabled, you cannot use Cognito on the same domain. The last one being IAM Identity Center authentication. IAM Identity Center lets you connect your existing identity source and provides a centralized user experience across AWS applications. It's a great option if your organization already uses AWS SSO and you want a unified login experience without managing separate users for OpenSearch. Overall, these authentication methods gives you flexibility to incorporate OpenSearch dashboards into your existing security model. whether you are using IAM, Cognito, SAML, or JWT. Comment down below if you would like to have detailed videos on any of these authentication methods. Now let's look at the deployment options for OpenSearch Serverless dashboards. Just like provision cluster, we have public and VPC options for serverless as well. There are network policies in OpenSearch Serverless dashboards that help you control access. To create one, go to the navigation bar under Serverless, choose Network Policies, click on Create Network Policy. First, let's create a public access policy. Give it a name. A policy can contain multiple rules that defines access permissions to different collection endpoints or OpenSearch dashboards. So let's create one for movie collection. I'm keeping the access as public. For the resource type, choose both OpenSearch endpoint as well as dashboards. Since you will upload and search data using OpenSearch dashboards, you need to enable both. I am selecting the connection and click on create. Now let's create a private network access policy. Give it a name. Give a rule name. Choose the access type as private. Private access can apply to one or both of the following: OpenSearch Serverless Managed VPC endpoints or AWS Service Private Access. I'm choosing a VPC endpoint. Selecting both. Now let's create a data access policies. In the left-hand panel, you can choose data access policies. Data access policies help control which users or roles can query and interact with your data collections. Give it a name. Give a rule name. You need to select principal. It can be IAM user roles or SAML or IAM Identity Center if it is enabled. First, you will grant alias and template permissions. I'm giving just describe. You can specify the collection name where it should be applied. I'm specifying both the collections. Then you can give index permissions. Again, I'm just giving the read permissions. You can give the collection name and specific indices and create it. So now let's access OpenSearch Serverless dashboards. In the left-hand panel, go to Serverless and click on Dashboard. Under Collections, you will see Available Collections and Dashboards. Click on each collection. Check their network access and data access policies. Here you can notice the network access policy is of type private. It has a VPC endpoints associated. Whereas for the other collection, the network access policy is of type public. If we go back to the serverless dashboard, for the public dashboard, you can click on the link and you will be able to access the dashboard directly. Whereas connecting to the VPC-based serverless dashboard typically involves connecting to a VPN, managed network, proxy server, or a transit gateway. Remember, unlike provision clusters, serverless dashboards are more flexible, meaning you can change the network type at any time by simply modifying the network access policy to public or private. Okay, the last part is the new OpenSearch User Interface. It is the next generation, redesigned OpenSearch dashboard experience that can connect to multiple data sources. An OpenSearch application has its own endpoint and can be easily shared with others for collaboration. Each collaborator can log in using AWS IAM or IAM Identity Center credentials as well. Let's see how to deploy and access this. Again, I am in the OpenSearch console. Click on the navigation bar on the left and select OpenSearch UI. So it involves 3 simple steps. First, creating an OpenSearch application. We'll configure the application details, choose authentication methods, and define user permissions. Second is to associate with data sources. Link your OpenSearch applications to data sources. This can include provisioned OpenSearch clusters, OpenSearch serverless collections, or native integrations with some of the AWS services. The last one being configuring workspaces to complete the setup. So let me create an application. Next, choose single sign-on authentication. By default, your dashboard is already authenticated with IAM to manage permissions for AWS resource users. In addition, you can also enable authentication with IAM Identity Center. You need to choose an IAM role for that. Next is to set permission settings for admin. You can grant administration permissions to specific users or to all users. Then click on Create. Once that is done, we can move on to the step 2, where you attach data sources. We can attach the domains, serverless collections, and as I informed, you can also choose native AWS service integrations. Once done, save it. Third step is to launch the application and configure workspaces. You can notice the application URL. Click on that. It will ask for the login. I'm choosing the IAM login. You are in the OpenSearch UI. And you can create workspaces which provide use case specific experiences for different users. If you would like to know more about OpenSearch UI, its components, and how to use it, don't forget to check out the videos referenced in the description section. So this brings me to the end of this video. We have covered the different deployment options for OpenSearch provision and serverless dashboards, how to control access to your OpenSearch dashboards, and different authentication methods. And lastly, our new OpenSearch User Interface. Make sure to check out the OpenSearch Dashboard series linked in the description. And don't forget to explore the resources and documentation. Thanks for watching and happy cloud.